My friends laughed at my rust bucket collection until two of them got their BMWs repossessed. We were all 22, fresh out of college, financing German cars we couldn't really afford. I was about to do the same thing, had the loan approved for a brand new luxury sedan. But my uncle pulled me aside at a family barbecue and walked me over to his garage. He pulled a tarp off a beat-up muscle car covered in dust. That pile of rust cost me $2,000 in 1995. Sold it last month for $140,000. Your fancy new car will be worth half what you paid the second you drive it off the lot. These old beauties only go up. I canceled my loan and spent the money on 3 rusted-out classics from the 60s. A Camaro that wouldn't start, a Corvette with a blown engine, and a Chevelle that looked like it had been sitting in a field for decades. My parents were mortified when neighbors complained about the junkyard in our driveway. My friends were worse. "Bro, you're never getting a girl driving those rust buckets," one of them said while showing off his new leather seats. "Unless you're into cougars who remember when these things were new." Another one laughed and said I looked like I was collecting scrap metal instead of building a future. Every time we hung out, they'd brag about their heated seats and backup cameras while I pulled up in something that barely started. There were nights I sat in that Camaro that wouldn't start and just stared at the steering wheel wondering if my uncle was wrong. But then I'd remember that $140,000 sale and keep grinding. For 4 years, I spent nights and weekends in my uncle's garage learning to weld, rebuild engines, and match factory paint. Burned through 6 shirts learning to weld right. Rebuilt my first engine 3 times before it actually ran. Sliced my hands open more times than I could count. My social life disappeared because everyone thought I was too broke to hang out with. While my friends posted pictures of their leather interiors and complained about $1,400 monthly payments, I was covered in oil trying to bring these rust buckets back to life. Then I started recognizing what collectors actually wanted. My Camaro had the rare big block option. The Corvette had the split rear window that people paid crazy money for. The Chevelle still had the original factory papers that most owners had lost decades ago, and the market was about to explode. Auction prices went insane, and collectors started calling me directly. I sold that first Camaro for 30 times what I paid and used the money to buy a dozen more. Restored them, flipped 3 for enough to open my own warehouse. Last month, my phone rang. It was one of the guys who used to roast me hardest. "Hey man, you still in the car business? I got laid off and the bank took my BMW. You know anyone hiring?" A week later, same call from another one. Meanwhile, I was sitting on 26 muscle cars worth more than everything they'd ever owned combined. I drove my restored Camaro to our old hangout spot last weekend. Same friend who said I'd never get a girl driving rust buckets walked over. His jaw actually dropped. He ran his hand along the hood like he was afraid to touch it. "That thing's beautiful. What would you sell it for?" My wife leaned over from the passenger seat. "Don't bother. He's not selling that one." He looked at her, then back at me. Didn't say a word. Same rust bucket that was never gonna get me a girl. Funny how that worked out.